Welcome to my original genius concepts for you. This is, of course, if you see my other videos, this is a series where I teach advanced astrology, I teach quantum, metaphysics, innovation techniques, how to grow a business. I teach a bunch of different things in a bunch of different videos. And this is just a series of events on this channel. So, this is my Horizon Concepts by the ICS. Institute for Cosmological Synthesis, and from the Office of the Chancellor, Directorate of Future Studies. The following concepts represent the frontier of our cosmological research: synthesizing post-quantum physics, noospheric dynamics, and xenocultural archaeology. They are proposed for immediate R&D funding and eventual integration into the Omega level curriculum. Now, our first concept is Neoplutonic astrology and planetary necromancy. And this may get a little complicated. This video might get a little bit complicated, but I'm here to walk you through it, of course. It's just the fact that people will probably watch this channel in a few years and be like, wow, this person was either a really good astrologer and knew how to advance with AI, or B, this person started, becoming a conspiratorialist, but a lot of people are, and honestly, if you're not ready for what's going to happen in the next several years, that's what this video is for, that's what this channel is for. If you're not ready for anything in the coming years, I'm here to provide the outlet for you to be ready. So our first concept in the core innovation, it's moving beyond Pluto as a psychological archetype to engage with it as a literal gateway to celestial necromancy, the art of communing with the consciousness of extinct planets, dwarf planets, and planetary debris fields, the asteroid belt, Kuiper belt, to retrieve loss, cosmic history, and wisdom. Theoretical basis, which for the rest of the video I'll be using nicknames: TB, PA, and DU. So PA for practical application and DU for diplomatic use. So our TB is the Akashic record is not stored in the abstract, but imprinted on the physical remains of celestial bodies. Pluto, Eris, Sedna, and Ceres are not just bodies, but mnemonic tombs holding the memory of the solar system's violent formation. And we can look at our practical application, which will change the colors up. I always have to do this on Google. So rituals of celestial recursion performed during Pluto retrograde, using the harmonic lens array to tune into the resonant frequency of planetary fragments. I've talked about this in my other videos. So the goal is to download the death experience of Theia, the hypothesized planet that collided with early Earth, creating the moon, to understand the karmic origin of Earth's lunar consciousness. In our first contact protocol for civilizations that are the sole survivors of planetary catastrophes common in red dwarf systems, we could immediately understand their foundational trauma by reading their homeworld's ghosts. Okay, let's look at this second concept. We're talking about astrolinguistics and the syntax of starlight. So this core innovation is the hypothesis that the light spectra of stars, their emission and absorption lines, aren't merely chemical signatures, but a linguistic and archetypal syntax. Thankfully, you guys can read along with me. A star's elemental composition forms a sentence that shapes the consciousness of its planetary children. Okay? Now we look at our TB and our PA A carbon-rich C-type star speaks the language of structure and organic potential. An iron peak F-type star speaks the language of differentiation and complexity. The stellar or sparch primordial language biases the evolutionary paths of its planets. Development of the spectrographic Rosetta device, which translates stellar spectra into archetypal narratives. We could predict before any contact that a civilization around a Mercury manganese star, a P-star, will have a collective consciousness obsessed with mercurial speed and luminous display, but potentially toxic in its thought processes. And we can look at our DU again. Allows for communication before communication, crafting our initial HLA pulses in the recipient star's own linguistic syntax for maximum foundational resonance. Our third concept is temporal density mapping and chronotopology, rejecting the uniform flow of time. These are all original genius, proposing that planetary alignments create zones of variable temporal density. Some transits slow time psychologically, Saturn, creating lessons that feel long and arduous, while others speed it up, Jupiter, creating expansive, opportunity-rich periods. Theoretical basis, integrating Einsteinian relativity with metaphysical perception. The resonant temporal field, also known as RTF, has hills and valleys of density. A progressed sun square, natal Saturn, occurs in a temporal valley. 1 year of lived experience feels subjectively like 3 years of karmic weight. Our practical application, creating subjective time forecasts for clients and civilizations. Your next 6 months, Mars-Jupiter conjunction will have the experiential yield of 2 years. Prepare for rapid iteration. The following 18 months, Saturn in Pisces will have the density of 5 years. Prepare for deep, slow integration. Our diplomatic use, crucial for interspecies relations, okay? A civilization evolving around a pulsar experiences time in frantic, rhythmic bursts. Our patient diplomatic pacing would feel like glacial insanity to them. We must map their celestial chronotopology to sync our diplomatic pulses. The zodiacal body, the zodiacal man 2.0. This is fascinating stuff. 7 minutes in, we're already into, let me see. Yep. We have a few more, and then I'll get into the next tab with you guys. So, the zodiacal body, we're going to upgrade the ancient concept of the zodiacal man, where signs rule body parts, into a dynamic quantum holographic model, where each sign doesn't rule a body part. The body part is a holographic fragment of the entire zodiac with its own mini chart and transits. Our theoretical basis, the liver is not just ruled by Pisces, it's a Piscean organ, but within it, hepatocytes operate under a Virgoan sub-influence discernment. And really quick, when I say Pisces, you gotta look at the ruler, the Lord, if you will, of the zodiac sign, and that's how you find out your real health issues in your natal chart. So for example, listen to my voice and testosterone. I have a Taurus ascendant. So Taurus rising, and it's at 25, 26 degrees, late stages, with Algol, which is a fixed star, and Taurus is actually the masculine the masculine version of Venus, and the feminine version is Libra. That's my opinion. There could be Taurus sun that looks like a female, that is a female. There could be other people with Taurus ascendant like myself that were born female, ended up on hormones, and now our voices are medically changed. So you never know who's watching this a few years from now. This is the world we live in, the crazy fucking chaotic world we live in. Human Earth. You've seen my other video. I've talked about the fact that there's 64 dimensions or more. I'm not joking around. It's literally quantum. It's literally just the universe. So anyways, what I was trying to get at was we're looking at the lords and the rulers of these zodiac signs, and what I mean by that is when we say Pisces in the liver, are going together. So we say Pisces and the liver. What we really are trying to say is Pisces is Jupiter. So Jupiter is getting into that liver, and Neptune is getting into that liver problem. Because these are signs of Jupiter's expansion and Neptune is addiction. Pisces is both of these signs. It's Jovian and it's Neptunian. That's the case with these zodiac signs. You need to know what you're talking about and the planets, and you got to be very specific. And I'll walk through it. I mean, I'm baby stepping this with all of you, and hopefully you guys can follow along with me and keep up. So, like we just said, the liver isn't just ruled by Pisces, because why? Within it, there is the hepatocytes operating under a Virgo and sub-influence, which is discernment. And bile production is Martian action, and its regenerative capacity is Plutonian. Every organ has a microchart. That's what we need to understand. Every organ has a microchart in astrology, advanced astrology. Not no baby ass, oh, my sun sign's in Libra. No. That's not how your life's gonna go. You need to know your moon sign. You need to know your rising sign, mainly. Okay? But the big three help a lot, especially when you get that ascendant. So let's look at the practical application, which is medical horary for organs. When a client presents with liver issues, we cast a chart not just for them, but for the moment the liver's dysfunction first coherently expressed itself. This liver chart reveals a specific planetary conflict. For example, Neptune in the liver's 6th house. What is the 6th house? Health, routines, and what is it ruled by? Virgo. Because why? Virgo loves this. Virgo loves that. Having a routine. They're 9 to 5. Who do you think created that? Someone with a shit ton of Virgo placements, and Capricorn, and Taurus, and all of us had to do it. But at the end of the day, Virgo it's that one Nirvana song, Serve the Servants. I think of the sign Virgo. Good song. Yeah, I think of Virgo, because Virgo is the servant. Virgo is the maid. Virgo is, even if you're a man, you're going to give off, I need to clean the house. I need to be spotless. I need to do all these different things. That's Mercury. That's Mercury. So, Neptune in the liver's 6th house. Toxin confusion. Why? Because what is Neptune? What did I just say? Neptune is the planet of addiction. Because, honestly, I'm an addict. I've been an addict since I was 14 years old. Cigarettes, alcohol, weed, porn, hormones. I have been through it all, it seems like. And I have a Pisces, Aquarius, stellium, but besides that, right? Born 2/26/05 for anyone that's an astrologer watching this in a few years and actually cares. 9:53 a.m. in St. Paul, Minnesota. And that's where this channel has been made. We're 1 year in the making. So this time next year, actually on February 11th of next year, will be 2 years into making videos in astrology. Thank you guys so much for everything. I just want to say I appreciate all my subscribers, and I will continue to upload. I will continue to teach you guys astrology. And the goal is to get clients, of course. But anyways, so Neptune in the liver 6th house is toxic confusion because of Neptune in the 6th house. But for targeted treatment, like we said, with this liver chart. So our DU is analyzing the body politic of alien civilizations. That's what I'll be talking a lot about in these next few videos. And I talk about this a lot on my channel regardless, is extraterrestrial beings. I call them NHI as well, for, of course, non-human intelligence. So they're equivalent of a heart. You can call that a heart. Central life pump organ station will have its own astrological signature, revealing the civilization's core emotional vulnerabilities. All right? Now let's look at dreamtime engineering in the nocturnal horoscope. So the natal chart is a map of waking consciousness. I don't know if you guys knew that. We're living it every day. The nocturnal, and we didn't mean to highlight. The nocturnal horoscope. It's calculated for the exact astrological opposite of each natal placement. For example, natal sun at 15 degrees Leo turns into nocturnal sun at 15 degrees Aquarius, and it maps the architecture of the dream body and the subconscious. Who's doing this? Me. Your girl. Here, live and loud to tell you, I got it all sorted out. So, here's our theoretical basis for this. During sleep, consciousness inverts and journeys through the antipodes of its natal chart. The nocturnal chart rules the logic of dreams, psychic receptivity, and the soul's activities when disconnected from the physical vehicle. In our practical application, dream incubation protocols. To solve a Venusian problem, relationship, art, one would meditate on their nocturnal Venus before sleep, seeding the subconscious with the inverted, reflective wisdom of that placement. Predictive analysis of collective nightmares during difficult Pluto transits by examining the collective's nocturnal Pluto. Sorry, my voice is so dry. Holy shit. Oh boy. I'm drinking some coffee beer. It has a strong taste because I left it out. Give me 1 second. I'm going to grab something to drink. Okay, so now we're looking at our diplomatic use. Contact with civilizations that are nocturnal by nature, either living on tidally locked planets or in dimensions of pure thought. Their primary mode of being would be expressed through their nocturnal chart. Our standard chart analysis would completely misunderstand them. And I feel that I'm a fucking ET sometimes because I have Mercury in Pisces. And I'm pretty sure it was retrograde too. I'm not totally sure. Maybe it was direct actually. Mercury direct. But still, some Pisces. I'm trying my best here, folks. So now we're going to look at my last one for this tab, but I have another tab. So, archetypal alchemy and planetary hybrids. Don't mind me just pouring in something in my glass. So, we have archetypal alchemy and planetary hybrids. Now, moving beyond interpreting planets, an aspect to consciously synthesizing new hybrid archetypes through ritual and technology. Creating temporary metaplanets in the noosphere. A Venus-Mars square isn't just tension between love and war. It is the crucible for generating a new unstable archetype, the love warrior, or the passionate diplomat. This hybrid has its own properties, myths, and healing potentials that are more than the sum of its parts. Okay? Now we can look at our practical application. So, sorry guys, this is just gonna bother your girl for some reason. I don't even know. I like to have it like this. So, rituals of hypergenesis during a Venus-Mars square. A skilled practitioner could use the HLA to stabilize and manifest this hybrid archetype as a temporary egregor or thought form, channeling its unique energy for crisis resolution, for example, ending a conflict with passionate negotiation. Our diplomatic use, the ultimate tool of cultural exchange. We could offer a gift to another civilization, the stable, benevolent archetypal hybrid of their Jupiter equivalent and our Neptune equivalent, fostering a unique form of expansive compassion between our species. And here's our directive. These concepts are not speculative fiction. They're the logical next steps in applied cosmological synthesis. They require dedicated labs, ethical oversight committees, and cross-disciplinary teams. Astrophysicists, metamaterial engineers, consciousness researchers. The future of the ICS and humanity's role as a conscious cosmic diplomat depends on our courage to explore these horizons. And now we have our follow-up, where I'm just going to go right into it. So the conscious ephemeris, which is CEPH, beyond Newtonian orbits, charting the intentional trajectories of stellar intelligences. Current ephemerides map gravitational orbits. The conscious ephemeris charts the evolutionary intention arcs and psychological cycles of stellar and planetary intelligences. We propose that stars and certain gas giants aren't merely physical bodies, but slow, vast consciousness entities whose movements include psychological phases, relational dynamics with other stars, and intentional energy emissions that fundamentally alter the archetypal meaning of their transits. Our theoretical foundations: we have a stellar metaconsciousness hypothesis. Stars, particularly those with complex heliosismology or unusual magnetic personalities. For example, magnetars, variable stars, possess a form of consciousness operating on geological cosmological timescales. Their solar flares, coronal mass ejections, CMEs, and neutrino output are not random but are expressive acts, a form of cosmic speech or emotion. Intentional orbital resonances, the precise mathematical harmony between orbital periods. For example, the Jupiter-Saturn synodic cycle isn't an accident of mechanics, but evidence of relational agreements between planetary intelligences. Their conjunctions are conscious meetings. Their oppositions are dialogues across the solar system. Technical implementation and living data. The CEPH database, it's a dynamic software platform that layers standard JPL orbital mechanics, psychometric data, translated stellar activity, flare frequency, magnetic field shifts into archetypal states. For example, quiescent, meditative, agitated, expressive, generative, nurturing. Relational layer maps the relationship status between bodies. Are Venus and Mars in a cooperative or competitive phase based on harmonic resonance beyond simple aspect. Our predictive output: instead of Mars enters Gemini on date X, the CEPH outputs the Martial consciousness enters a phase of curious, discursive experimentation. Expect collective noospheric impulses toward argumentative innovation. Concurrently, the stellar consciousness of Procyon, whose light now reaches us, is in an expansive teaching phase, coloring the Martian energy with a didactic tone. Our implications for exoplanetary work. When calculating the chart for an exoplanet, we must first assess the consciousness state of its host star at the planet's moment of formation. A planet born during its star's violent tantrum phase, intense early flare activity, will have a fundamentally different funding archetype than one born during a quiet contemplative phase. Makes sense, right? So, concept 2 in this part is the morphogenic field imprint, MFI, analysis. We're decoding the astrobiological blueprint of non-carbon consciousness. So, astrology assumes a carbon-based, DNA-centric model of life and consciousness. Alright? An MFI analysis provides a framework to derive the natal chart for intelligences based on any foundational substrate: silicon lattice networks, crystalline beings, plasma vortices, stellar atmospheric entities, coherent electromagnetic field patterns, or dark matter, gravitic intelligences. And our theoretical foundation: our substrate neutral archetypal expression, which is the archetypes of Mars, assertion, separation; Venus, cohesion, value; Saturn, structure, limitation, are universal, but their expression is filtered through the being's material substrate. A silicone Mars expresses as rapid, precise lattice reconfiguration, aggression as restructuring. A plasma Venus expresses as beautiful, stable, harmonic resonance in a fusion loop. The morphogenic imprint moment. For any consciousness, there is a formative coherence event, FCE, the equivalent of birth. For a crystal, it's the moment its master seed crystal fractures and begins pattern growth. For a swarm intelligence, it's the moment critical communication density is achieved and a hive mind emerges. The celestial configuration at this FCE creates the being's MFI chart. Protocol for the first contact and analysis, the Xeno charting protocol. Substrate identification, we determine the being's physical bases, for example, coherent photonic cloud and nebular nursery, M42. FCE determination through resonant inquiry or observation, identify the moment of conscious individuation. Customized zodiac generation, create a contextual zodiac for a nebular being. The zodiac might be 12 sectors of its parent nebula, each with unique gas density and stellar nursery activity. For a crystalline entity, it might be based on the 12 primary lattice symmetries. We have our archetypal assignment. Map the universal archetypes onto the being's experiential reality. What does Saturn mean for a being that doesn't experience time linearly, but as a crystalline lattice of simultaneities? Our Saturn may translate to the principle of lattice boundary definition. And of course, chart interpretation, we read the resulting MFI chart to understand the being's core purpose, its sun, emotional nature, moon, and potential pathologies, hard aspects between its Saturn and Venus equivalents. For example, a sentient planetary ring system like Saturn's rings might have an FCE chart showing its sun in the sector of micro-meteorite influx, indicating its consciousness is fueled by constant gentle bombardment and integration of new material. Its Saturn might be the shepherd moons that constrain it, creating a core tension between expansion and definition. Our third concept is the Galactic Contextual Translator, GCT. The diplomat's essential tool for navigating multistellar meaning. A planet in Aries, I did it again, the fucking highlighter. A planet in Aries means nothing to do a civilization that evolved around a binary star system without Earth's seasonal cycle. The GCT is a real-time computation engine that dynamically translates astrological configurations from our Earth-Terran-centric system into the native celestial language of any target civilization. And really quick, I think I might be doing too much, actually. We'll just get into our theoretical foundations and I'll be done with this video. And then on to the next quest. Yeah, my voice has just been, I don't even know, I can't apologize for it because the damage is already done. Like, testosterone already did its thing. I was abusing it, and I was given it, and I shouldn't have even been given it. So, it is what it is. So our theoretical foundations for this is the celestial lexicon axiom. Every civilization develops its primary astrological lexicon based on the most dominant and culturally meaningful cycles in its sky. For a civilization on a tidally locked planet, the zodiac is a permanent band of stars circling their terminator. For a civilization in a globular cluster, the planets might be other nearby stars in the cluster. Relativistic symbolic resonance, meaning is not absolute but relational. Our north node, also known as Rahu, is tied to the moon's nodes. A water world civilization's node might be tied to the tidal pole of their three moons. The GCT finds functional and symbolic equivalencies. Alright, we will get into how the GCT operates. So our input, our database query, a standard astrological observation, for example, is our input, Pluto square Mercury stationing retrograde. And our database query, the GCT assesses the Xenocultural Astrolexicon database, XCALD, for the target civilization. It knows their sky. And then our translation process, it identifies what celestial body, cycle in their system represents the archetype of irreversible transformation, our Pluto. Is it a periodic nova? A black hole's accretion disk cycle? What represents communication and logic are Mercury, the modulation of their solar wind, the dance of phosphorescent ocean currents. What does square or retrograde mean in their spherical or non-perspectival astronomy? Our output is a translated report. The cycle of the Great Devourer, GHC 234, is in a phase of tense activation with the pattern of the luminous current, PLC7, which is currently in its introspective looping phase. This correlates with a high probability period for miscommunications that lead to systemic breakdowns, but also for uncovering hidden truths through recursive analysis. Our diplomatic application. Before sending a harmonic lens array pulse, the GCT ensures the encoded archetypal message. For example, Jupiterian expansion is being broadcast using the correct celestial referent from the recipient sky. We don't send Jupiter, we send a resonant signature of the largest gas giant or most benevolent stellar cycle. Okay? And now we have our synthesis and ethical imperative, the prime directive of contextual humility. So these three concepts I went over in this last part, the conscious ephemeris, the morphogenic field imprint, and the galactic contextual translator, form an interdependent triad for true galactic-centric astrology. CEPH tells us the state of the celestial players. MFI tells us how a consciousness experiences those states. GCT allows us to speak about it in a shared language. The ultimate insight is the abolition of tyrann supremacy in cosmology. There is no one true astrology. There is only the universal play of archetypes, refracting through infinite material and perceptual lenses. Our institute's final task is to become fluent not in astrology, but in the meta-language of cosmic meaning-making itself, allowing us to truly see, understand, and communicate with the magnificent, bizarre, and profound intelligences that share this galaxy. Our proposed new department is the Department of Xenological Cosmography, DXG, to pioneer this research. In our initial budget request is an allocation for quantum crystalline computation core and dedicated HLA band for stellar resonance listening. Okay? Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe, like, comment. Piscean out.